Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Further Beyond Gaming. My name is Cody GT, and in today's video we are continuing the week of Genshin leading up to the official release on the 28th of September on Monday. I'm still extremely excited, I hope you are, and in today's video what we're going to be speaking about are the element types in the game of Genshin Impact and why they are important and why they're important to team building. So I do hope you enjoy today's video, and I hope you like what you see, and I hope you get something from it, because it's going to be very important. It's going to be something that you're going to want to utilize in the game when you first go ahead and begin and you start building your teams together, and the flexibility and the versatility that you're going to be able to experience that is going to make this game extremely fun for you. When I tell you that, guys, listen to me, it's going to be a lot of fun just team building and putting different elemental types together, because when you put those different elemental types together, they do create new skills and new combinations of how much damage you can output and things of that nature. It's going to be a great time, and we're going to go ahead and delve into that today and just look into it a little bit deeper. So before we do, just a huge quick shout out to Sunmilk on Twitter for this amazing guide right here. Now, I'm not sure if this is the original version or if they're the original creator of it, but nonetheless, I do appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to their Twitter in the description down below, and for the other charts and guides that we're going to take a look at as well in the description down below, it'll be there. So massive credit to them. Thank you so much. So really quickly, right off the bat, when we're talking about the elemental types in Genshin Impact, there are 7 major elemental types. We have Pyro, Hydro, Cryo, Electro, Anemo, Dendro, and Geo. So you have to keep that in mind when you're building your teams. Those are the 7 elemental types. And then when we're talking about the skills and how you can combine them, there are many different ways, and there are certain elemental types that combine better to do different effects and to do different damage. It's really fun. That's going to be the part that you're going to have, I think, the most fun with, at least myself, when it comes to putting those two, or different combinations together to see what you can create. And I think as the game progresses, we're going to see more and more combinations and different charts that are going to come out. It's going to be crazy. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So we have what I believe is the wind elemental type right here, which they are defining as Swirl, which Swirl absorbs the first element and comes into contact with and spreads it to a larger area, dealing that element's damage. So what Swirl is going to allow you to do is when it gets into contact with these 4 elements here, this is fire, water, ice, and electric. I'm just going to kind of use those basic names instead of the Pyro, Hydro, and Cryo. I'm just going to use the basic names for them to better convey what I'm speaking about. It's going to allow you to do AoE damage for those elemental types and spread them out so you're able to affect more enemies. So that is with the wind elemental right there for those 4. And then you have burning, which burning deals ongoing pyro damage to the target, and as you can see, it's a synergistic between pyro and then or fire and this elemental type right here, which I'm not exactly sure if this is Anemo or Dendro. I believe this may be Anemo, and then the wind they describe as Dendro, if I'm not mistaken. In the comments down below, go ahead and correct me. So if we move back over to the right hand side of this chart right here, we have the electric type in the middle. What this is going to give you is a better understanding of how the electric type, or just elements in general, combined with different ones, and the synergistic properties and the different skills that you're able to create and how they affect the enemies in this chart right here. So we have electric in the middle. So let's say, for example, we pair it with a fire damage dealing character. So let's just say we have Lisa, we drop down an electric skill, and then we switch out to Amber and we drop down a fire skill. That's going to go ahead and create what's called Overload. Overload creates a massive explosion that deals pyro AoE damage. Very, very nice right there. So you're taking something which is just an electric based attack, and you combine it with another element like fire, and now you're getting something that does AoE damage. It's a massive explosion. You're going to be able to do more damage. It's really, really cool how the concept of what you can do really affects how you play the game, and how it is, how you're going to be able to utilize the different elements, I should say. So let's go ahead and take a look at electric now. If you combine it with the frozen or cryo, or ice I should say, then you get what's called superconduct. Superconduct deals cryo AoE damage and reduces the target's defense. So there you can see, once again, you're getting the AoE damage, but now you're reducing the target's defense. Just a perk or a benefit of being able to pair it with a character that can, you know, freeze the enemy or has the ice elemental type. So for example, let's say once again we have Lisa, she drops down the electric skill, and then you switch out to Kaya, who's an ice elemental character, and you drop down his ice skill. Now you got the superconduct. So that's how that works there. And then once again we have the hydro or the water. So if you have the electric, you pair it with the water, you have electrocharge. Electrocharge deals ongoing electro damage to the target, so it's something that's damage over time, which is really great, and some a benefit of just you know only doing electric, but now you're doing something additional. That's where the fun is going to come into play, and that's where it's going to be really awesome to see the different combinations that you can go ahead and utilize. And even further, if you have two elements that you think will just never work together, they just wouldn't be cohesive, in this game that's not actually the case. It's actually something that you can go ahead and definitely utilize and still benefit from. So what do I mean by that? For example, if you have ice elemental character and you pair it with a fire elemental character, so in this case Amber and Kaya, you can do what's called melt. You would think those two would just not mesh together, but in this case it does. Melting ice off a target causes extra damage to it. So if you drop down Kaya's skill and then you switch to Amber, drop down a fire skill, you have melt, which is going to be doing extra damage to the target. Something that you may thought would not have worked together now actually does. There has some benefits to it. Once again, you know, fire and water has vaporize. Vaporizing hydro deals extra damage to the target. So if you have the water elemental character drop down their skill and then you switch to a fire and do vaporize, there you go. You have something that is going to be doing more damage to the target. So that is where you're going to want to focus when it comes to team building and creating your team for the game. You want to go ahead and keep in mind what combinations are going to work well together. What combinations do I want to put together? Now, albeit when it comes to the game of Genshin Impact, you can choose whatever you want to choose and you can build whatever team that you want to build. You know, for example, if you want to have a full electric team, if that's even possible, you can do that. But if you want to have the best synergy and the best team build, and you want to be able to do the most damage to a specific enemy, or have the versatility to be able to do that, then you're going to want to try and get different elements, build them up, have them available, and put them on a team. So for example, a team of electric, fire, because you can have 4 characters on a team, so electric, fire, ice, and water here as a perfect example. You can put them all on a team and have the ability to drop down an electric skill, switch to a fire damage dealer, drop down that one, see how much damage you do, and then kind of go through like a type of wheel where you can then switch to water, drop down a water skill, switch to ice, drop down that skill, and see what type of damage that does. So there's going to be great combinations. There's going to be very fun versatility and flexibility with your teams, and that's what you're going to want to keep in mind when you're really building out your teams. That there's just really a large a large understanding of possibilities that you can take advantage of, and that is going to be the fun part about Genshin Impact, in my opinion anyways. But once again, it is your account. When you're playing the game, you play it how you want to. If you want just all water damage dealing characters on your team, then albeit you go for it and see that works out for you. Now, one other graph I wanted to go ahead and quickly mention before I do end the video is this one right here on the MiHoYo forum, left by an individual. Let me see if I can just get their name really quickly. I believe it's Person, if I'm not mistaken. I could be, I do apologize, but this is just a chart that's not an official chart, so this isn't the correct combinations. This is actually a suggestion, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe this is a suggestion chart to MiHoYo for Genshin Impact on different ways elements can work with each other, just to get a better idea, or I shouldn't say a better idea, that's not the right phrase. to get a greater diversity. There we go. On how the elements can work with each other. So for example, we have this chart right here where it's showing some possibilities to where elements that don't work together, or a combination of elements that you can't actually do in the game. This is a chart to give MiHoYo a better idea of how it could and how it could work, and to see if they implement that later down the line in the future, maybe in future version updates. I think that would be amazingly awesome. Now, I believe some of these may work together. I'm not exactly sure. Once again, in the comments down below, let me know. But if not, then these are all possibilities that could work out and actually make sense, and something that would be really fun, because not only will that you know, make the game a lot funner to play because of how you're able to now take advantage of different avenues when it comes to the elements, and be able to take advantage of different combinations, but it also will allow you to explore the different possibilities, and be able to you know, combine different elements, be a lot more fun in the game also, and not be too stale or too stagnant or too boring. So that is something that I wanted to quickly share as well, and I believe it is at person. So huge shout out to you for this chart, for making this. I believe this was just an idea to provide to MiHoYo as a suggestion. So I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to this in the description below as well, so you can look it over and see, you know, for yourself if you want to. But anyways, guys, that was just a quick video on elements, why they're important, how they work with team builds, and why they're important for team builds as well, and why you're going to want to utilize them when putting a team together, and the importance behind them. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something from it. I hope you liked what you saw today, and we're going to keep this week of Genshin rolling. I'm trying to come out with a video a day for this, so we'll see how that goes, and I cannot wait. I'm trying to build up the hype, which I'm getting already hyped enough for myself. Let me know in the comments down below if you are, and I will see you guys in the next one. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. And until next time, my boys, until next time, it's your homie Cody GT, and I'm out. Bye, guys.